Hey guys, and welcome back to Castle Crush, and today we are going to be taking a look here at a no legendaries deck that is pretty easy to play with. And this deck right here, again, no legendary cards at all. It is a rushing deck, mostly because those tend to be something I've used a lot, so I'm pretty good at being able to craft them up here. And this particular one, no legendary cards, and it does use epics, so you will need several different epic cards. You need the Jester, the Boneyard, the Reaper, and the Standard Bearer, as well as Protection. You can get rid of some of these, and I've tried to get rid of all epics, even except for the Standard Bearer, but it's very difficult to do because you need something that can do some actual damage. And the two cards that I really enjoy using in my decks normally are the Hollow Knight and the Vampire. So not being able to use either of those cards in there, you have to find other cards that can kind of do similar things and can do... I mean, none of these cards are really quite as good as the Hollow Knight or the Vampire on the basis of being able to do good attack with a pretty good amount of health in addition to being low mana. And the Reaper and the Boneyard both have the potential to do a lot of damage, so that's why I put them in there. But neither of them really have a lot of health on an individual troop basis. So that's the big sort of downside to them, is that they can be easily removed, unlike the Hollow Knight or the Vampire, which take more than just an arrows or an Inferno to remove. So that's why we have to have the Protection more or less in this deck. And we also need the Rage more in this deck because we have the Jester and the Dwarf. So, you know, if we had the Hollow Knight instead of like the Jester and the, Vampire instead of a Jester or a Dwarf, then it would change things up because then we wouldn't need two Rages probably. So for a while I hadn't really been saving my chests, but I decided to do that again for some of these videos just to add that extra little element of interest. So the free ones, and finally the victory chest. And not even a single epic. Not a single epic. So this one does still use a good handful of epic cards, and I'm not sure how accessible it is to most of you guys. There are definitely cards in here that you could replace though. So, I mean, that's the good thing about it, is that rushing decks in general are fairly... they're fairly flexible, and you can customize them based on the cards that you have. But the main thing to me, though, is the fact that they are very effective against players who have a higher card level than you do. It doesn't necessarily matter so much. What ends up mattering a bit more is just that you have a good strategy and timing with your rushing deck. At least that's what I've discovered, is that I can outplay players who have higher card levels, somewhat. So, let's get this thing going here. We're going to try and take out a bunch of their health quickly before they can do anything about it. So, alright. That didn't particularly help. Alright, I should have just played the Protection, was what I should have done there. But this is definitely, rushing decks in general are definitely a type of deck that you can incorporate without needing legendaries. I mean, I think the legendaries do certainly help, but they're not, like, super needed by any means. So we're going to play this like so, and I'm just going to focus here because... Alright, so another Protection down. I didn't really want to play that, but I need to keep that Reaper up. It's kind of like my thought process. So we're going to do this here and then swap everything into this lane and then Rage and try to hope that they don't have something to immediately take it out with. But they didn't, and we managed to take it out. I think the Reaper just was doing so much damage at first before they took it out that it helped us to secure that win. Got two Dwarves here, and we can just go ahead and play these plus the Jester. I really like the Dwarf plus the Jester in terms of getting like early game cards into a deck. They're pretty effective because they don't immediately die to anything. Or at least not anything you're going to encounter right at the start of the match. Well, except for like those skeletons. All right, so a boneyard can be a problem. We're going to go ahead and dump both of our boneyards there. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down. They tried to take it out and they failed. So we'll just go ahead and pop a rage and then try to work on what we've got in the... Okay, so... Oh, we got him. So as I discovered there, the dwarf doesn't really work all that well against a skeleton swarm, like a significant number of skeletons. I've kind of discovered that a skeleton swarm still seems to take out a dwarf pretty easily. I mean, I've had mixed results with the spiked statue against reapers. I thought it was a good counter to a reaper at first. Now I'm not so sure, but it still seems better than an inferno if they're going to play a protection too. So I'm not really sure. I mean, it's definitely good against skeletons. I mean, that's the main thing to me, personally at least, is that it's definitely good against skeletons. That worked out okay. We're going to go ahead and get this going here. And I'm going to play the Jester in the other lane. And the Jester should be able to hang on to what I need it to do. Okay, and it does, in fact, take out that. So now I need to do this, and then we'll go like this. No! Oh, I was, like, in the middle of, like, trying to play a rage there. Okay, so, don't give up. I cannot give up. I have to keep fighting. Oh, wow. Okay, so I did manage to delay them just enough. I only needed a couple of Reaper hits. We'll try that. Come on. Oh, we actually got it in time. That's pretty sweet. But if they played another one, I'd probably lose. So we'll just try and set this up anyways. I know that's not the best play right there, but just waiting to see what I could do. Kind of hard to play there against those Dryads. Dryads are still... So let's talk quickly about other cards you could put in here. So I would say the Dryad still could be a potential option. The Warrior and Fan Dancer are also options because they serve roles and they are only 3 mana each. I wouldn't personally use the Angel. The Angel worked much better with the Hollow Knight, Vampire, and last card here, Dark Angel. Worked much better with those, but there aren't cards in here that are really worth using the Angel on if you're not including the legendary cards. Maybe the Golem, and maybe the Dwarf, but again, the Dwarf's attack doesn't really justify like spending an Angel on it because it's not going to be able to take out a lot of things even with an Angel. So I wouldn't necessarily use that. You could use the regular statue. It's 2 less mana than the spiked statue, and it actually can work pretty well with a Reaper combo and protection. So you could use that. You could throw in other spell cards like Blizzard or maybe Arrows, maybe Gust of Wind is a personal favorite of mine to work against opponents' rushing decks. So those are all cards you could put in there. Maybe you could try putting a Balm in. I don't know. Wouldn't go with Nature Heal. Would say no to Nature Heal. No to either of the mana cards because this deck is really low mana. No to Metamorph because they're skeletons and the cost of the cards you'd Metamorph into is too close. I don't know about Shock, maybe. The Unchained Demon can be a possibility. Wait, was it always 3 mana? That seems lower than I remembered. Unchained Demon is a possibility, but then your whole entire deck has to be based around the Unchained Demon. And then you can't really do a whole lot else. But the Unchained Demon is definitely a card that you can utilize if you don't have any legendaries at all. You could certainly make an Unchained Demon deck. The Pirate's an okay card to put in here. I don't really like the Siege Ballista so much. Some people like it. I don't really care for it so much. Other cards, Skeleton Swarm can be okay. It can be pretty good. Orc Warrior maybe might fit in. The Genie could fit in, but the Genie, it's not a very strong card for its mana cost. It's really just its ability to land right at their castle. It's good. So that pretty much sums it up. 5 mana or lower cards that would fit in here. So you can definitely swap different cards around, but I thought this is a pretty solid combination. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comments about this video and what other types of content I should create. maybe subscribe if you're new to my channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.